People have many questions when trying to plan a nutritionally sound diet. When you add in the complication of making that diet vegetarian, even more questions arise. You may wonder, how will I get enough protein, minerals, or fatty acids? However, with a little bit of research, you will come to realize that with some planning, it is easy and affordable to have a nutritionally sound vegetarian diet. Today I'm going to take you to Potter's Farm, a sustainable farm located in Pine Grove, Pennsylvania, to talk to Leah Zerbe, one of the owners. We will discuss nutrition in the vegetarian diet.
I'm an environmental health journalist for Rodale.com, and I write stories for Prevention and other Rodale magazines and websites. So there's a huge emphasis on health and the power of food and how you can actually prevent illnesses from happening if you take care of your body and eat well before you get sick in the first place. So that's kind of what we're all about here at the farm. We grow everything using organic methods, so we don't use any pesticides or anything that can kind of damage your immune system. We grow all things, lots of greens that can boost your immune system and keep you healthy, because we feel that what you put into your body can really keep you healthy in the long run. So at Potter's Farm, we have CSA, which stands for Community Supported Agriculture, and it's a concept that's really picking up steam in America. So basically, people sign up before the season starts, and they pay an amount, a set amount, and then they agree to come to the farm every week or twice a month to pick up whatever is fresh and in season. And it's a really great program for people because it helps them learn how to eat with the seasons and try new different foods and different recipes. So it's been really popular.
What are some benefits of eating a vegetable-rich diet?
Well, I mean, I think there are a lot of benefits, especially if you're going to eat some of those things raw, because I noticed myself just being really busy this year. I didn't get to cook a lot in the kitchen, so I have a Vitamix blender, and I would find myself just like throwing greens in there and some chia seeds for a little protein, and like my energy levels this year were through the roof. I mean, you can really harness power and energy from eating these things from the garden raw sometimes too.
You must be reading my mind, because my next question was actually, is there a difference between raw and cooked vegetables?
Yeah, well, there is a difference, and I don't think like one way or the other is 100% the way to go. I think it's good to eat them both ways, because some ways of cooking vegetables, you actually get more nutrition. Like if you cook tomatoes, you get more lycopene and things like that. But like I said earlier, especially with the greens, I feel like you can really up your energy if you're eating some of your greens raw, or even just like lightly steamed or sauteed. I'm a vegetarian. Okay. I have been a vegetarian since I was about 4 years old, where my aunt took me to a farm and showed me a cow, and she said that's where your meat comes from. And just at that young age, I thought, wow, like I don't want to be eating that. But I'm married to a carnivore, and I prepare meat for him all the time. I just am sure to go to local farms where I know the animals are grass-fed, where they're treated with respect, and we definitely know our farmers when it comes to where we get our meat from.
All right. Do you think that vegetarians can get enough protein?
Yes, they can. And I know I'm guilty of this too, where when you have a really busy schedule, it can be a little difficult. So I've learned to love things like quinoa, because it's a complete protein. It's very, very easy to make, and it's becoming more and more available in stores and co-ops and places like that. And protein kind of hides in weird places where you wouldn't think too, like avocados have a decent amount of protein, things like that. So if you do a little bit of planning, it's not that hard. You have to make sure you're getting enough fat too, so you're absorbing all of your other nutrients. So I think it's good to not be completely afraid of the good fats. Just stay away from like the trans fats and too much processed industrial fats, and go for nice wholesome fats, and coconut oil, things like that. Some of our customers have problems with being anemic and things like that, and spinach is great, kale, all of those leafy greens have so much iron and a lot of trace minerals, especially things like magnesium, which is something really, people are very deficient in magnesium, and it's something you need to be healthy. So the more leafy greens you're eating, kale, lettuce, spinach, all of that good stuff, that's how we make sure we're getting enough of that. With vitamin D, we farmers get enough of it because we're out in the sun a lot. Yeah. Probably too much sometimes, but really with vitamin D, we recommend eggs. So our eggs come from chickens who are outside. They're raised on pasture. They go into a coop at night, but during the day they're out foraging, they're in the sun, they're eating bugs, they're eating grass, and eggs raised from chickens raised that way have higher levels of vitamin D and things like vitamin E and omega-3s too. Using my own chickens, we started eating a lot more eggs, and I think that really helps with getting enough of the fatty acids that you need, especially because these chickens are raised out on pasture. So if you're a vegetarian looking for those sources and you don't want to do it through supplements, I think looking for a local farmer who does pasture raised eggs is the way to go. Yeah. Well, kale and dark leafy greens are a good source of calcium. Blackstrap molasses is surprisingly very high in calcium, so it has a bit of a bitter taste, but I know people, especially vegans, who would, instead of adding sugar to their coffee in the morning, they would put a little bit of blackstrap molasses in there, and then there's like 10% of the calcium that you'll need for the day right there in your coffee. I think especially for vegetarians, it's not that hard to get what you need without taking supplements. I think when you're a vegan, it gets a little more difficult, especially with the B vitamins. But I mean, especially if you're eating with the seasons, you're getting all sorts of different vitamins. You're getting all those trace minerals and nutrients that I don't think it's that hard. Especially if you're a vegetarian that incorporates eggs in, that makes it a little easier too.
What would my main concern be when planning a nutritionally sound vegetarian diet?
For me, it was protein, because I was not getting enough protein. So I think with drinking green smoothies, things like adding chia seeds, just doing like little things here and there, that's how I was starting to get more. Adding a slice of avocado to my egg, which already has protein, then you get a little bit extra protein in there and some healthy fats. I'm blanking. Oh, lentils. I mean, things that around here I didn't really necessarily grow up eating, but I've been huge on dried beans too. I try not to eat the canned beans because of the BPA liners, but people often say like it's too expensive to eat organic, but really if you're a vegetarian eating organic, it can be really inexpensive, especially if you're going and getting those dried beans and soaking them overnight and cooking them. I mean, you're getting organic protein for like pennies, so it can be really affordable, and especially if you incorporate like lentils and dried beans, quinoa, and then like avocado and chia seeds here and there when you can. We grew up in this age of convenience, you know, going to the supermarket with our mom where everything's in a can or you just throw it into a microwave. Well, if you eat a vegetarian diet that way, off of processed convenience food, it is expensive when you really break it down per serving. But if you're willing to make a big batch maybe on a Sunday when you're not too busy, keep it in the fridge, freeze some of the extra, I mean, it can be really a money saver. And it's good, it's better for your body. I mean, vegetarians live longer and it's much better for the environment too. I'm biased, but I think if you're new to this and you want to learn kind of how to cook new things, I mean, I would suggest joining a community supported agriculture program because you'll meet all sorts of people. They can teach you, they can help you learn how to cook the things. They'll introduce you to new vegetables and things you've never heard of, like garlic scapes were something here that is really popular, but most of our customers never even heard of that before. So I think it's just being open-minded, try new things. Maybe try to do it with a friend or a family member so you're not in it alone. Can take turns cooking for each other, sharing recipes. I think that always makes it more fun too. And definitely protein, because I think that's where a lot of vegetarians falter, is they're not getting enough protein and that makes you feel hungry all the time. So kind of plan out your week and how you're going to add protein here and there, and that'll help. My husband and I we lived in Philadelphia for about 8 years before this. And when we decided to move back to my family farm, we thought, maybe like a handful of people would be interested, and you know, our friends and family will probably sign up, but the response has just been overwhelming. I mean, we are so pleasantly surprised at people who are really interested in knowing the farmer, walking around the fields and seeing how things are grown, and to eat food that's grown without chemicals. It's great. I mean, we're growing every year, and I know the other local farms that are doing it, they are growing a lot too, so it's great.